Hey folks, Daniel Lair again. Today we're going to be doing another alcohol ink tutorial, but this time we're going to do a rainbow space scene. These are really pretty but really unpredictable. So as usual, you're going to need your Yupo paper, blending solution, inks, and this time you're going to need some cheap white paint, an old toothbrush, and a toothpick. And that's all you're going to need. So let's just dive right in. We're going to get, again, full coverage, but not, don't worry about covering everything because you're going to be blowing it all around anyway. So I got that. Now, I usually start with my lighter colors or the warm colors, because it's really easy to cover them up, as you'll find out. Let's get a little blend in there, some red, trusty puffer. So in a lot of the space scenes are really just layering colors. You want to start off with your lighter colors because you're going to get it darker as you go. And one thing I typically do with the space inks is I keep them pretty constantly wet. That'll add some effects, but you'll also be able to push some of the inks around if they're in your way. Okay, so I got a few spots. Some warm colors. Let's add some blue. My favorite color. And so in the areas where it mixes with the yellow, I would typically just turn it green because it's already going to be green anyway. Really, the only goal of this is to just keep making it darker and darker and darker until you can add stars. More blue. And if you have them, I would mix in the darker shades of each color. Like that's midnight blue versus sky blue. Just because it'll give you a little more depth and darken it up for you so you don't have to do quite as much work. Again, try to keep it wet. Give you all those nifty little cells. Now, usually add pink and purple last because they can be tricky, we'll say. There we go, we're getting a little bit darker now. Again, try to avoid puddles. Ink dries notoriously quickly, so you may lose your chance if you leave it sitting too long. So, as you can see, some of my blue has disappeared on me. The great news is, with these, if you don't like a spot, let's say this, you can kind of wipe it off. Get it wet again. Add more blue in now. Again, mix it with the darker blue. Ooh, much brighter. getting there. Getting darker. See how we've lost most of our yellow. That's why I usually do those ones first. Sometimes you can add them on. We'll see how this works. Give it a second to just kind of sink into the paper. And then once you start blowing it around, the yellow should appear again. Okay. Let's throw some more orange up here. Some purple, some pink. Again, just to kind of darken it. You don't have to darken the whole thing. I would just focus on the four corners. That'll give it the illusion of being dark. It'll be kind of like a galaxy vibe. And if you want, you can add planets or something. Okay, that's a little interesting. A lot of the rainbow ones are just kind of getting rid of the spaces you don't like. Which, trust me, you'll be doing a lot. Let's do the darker blue. There we go. I like that. And a little bit of purple. Ooh, sorry about that squeaking, guys. Awful noise. Okay. I would say we're almost done with this part. Let's add some more green, because that didn't show through very well. That's better. Okay, I think that's probably dark enough to add some stars. So, we're going to take about 15 minutes to let it dry, and gloss it, and then take another 20 minutes to let that dry. And then we'll be back to add the stars. So let's see if we can do something a little fancy here. Okay, here we go. And there we go. So we are all glossed and dried. If your gloss is still sticky, definitely do not add the stars. I mentioned in one of the last videos, but especially with white paint, it can bleed. So then you'll end up with multicolored stars, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's not the look I'm going for. So now we're going to use our old toothbrush and a toothpick and some paint. Dip your toothbrush in paint. I would keep a damp paper towel around, and you'll possibly see what I mean. The stars can smudge, and you gotta get them off quick. So then we're just gonna use our finger and kind of flick. If they're just tiny stars, you could probably use a little more paint, but if you use a lot of paint, you're gonna get big old chunks in there. That's not what we want. I don't think I've ever done this in gloves. It's kind of weird. Okay. We've got enough little stars, I think. Kind of hard to see them yet, but I'll just show you when we're done. So now we need our handy dandy toothpick. Just gonna keep dipping it in the paint. Kind of random all around. This will really just give it a little more depth. Almost done. People in there. And if you want to vary the size of your stars, just push your toothpick down on something and it'll make it a little bit wider for you. Or if you want to keep little stars, just keep it thin. Okay. Doop, doop, doop. And I would say that's looking pretty good. So there we go. Now we have a rainbow space. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to make some more videos in the near future. So stay tuned. Thanks.